Why do we say root workers? Because I want to bring it up because you brought up about the trees. And Virgo is supposed, it's an earth sign. It deals with the roots, right? As above, so below. So you're a root worker because you got to know the trees. You got to work with the roots. And on the masculine energy, that's part of why, like if you're looking at Ogun or somebody, or Chosi, those who are in the force, you work with the roots, right? So that is why the whole root workers, you have to be in tune with nature. That's why they disconnected us from nature. That's why they wanted to give us the shoes with the rubbers. That's why they wanted to bring us in, bring the false lights, have these, I call even our homes really our caskets, right? Because they wanted to put us in these square boxes and just not give us our energy. If you look at what they called TPs or whatever, it was things that allowed us to breathe more. So I wanted you to kind of break that down too, because we talked about that.
You brought up teepees because if you're watching the media, they got you believing we lived in teepees.
Right.
The teepee to us is the same as a camper going with a tent.
Right. What is the camp? Well, because like I camped with my kids, right? Because I have 2 boys, so I camped with my kids all the time.
Okay, so when we go camping, we build the tent. Mm-hmm. Now look at the lay of the land. Mm-hmm. Big Mama called all tribes on deck to fight the Gullah Wars. Mm-hmm. We traveling. Mm-hmm. And in the course of the travels, we had to set up encampments at certain locations for the journey. Mm-hmm. Now, when they go back and backtrack behind us, Lewis and Clark.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then they see we not in the castles. Mm-hmm. We ain't in the castles because we on our way to Florida. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when they get back to D.C., right, they tell D.C. there's no royalty on the land because ain't nobody in the castles. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And so this is when they assert the jurisdiction over the tribe during the warfare to usurp us. Right. So once they usurp us, and then they stretch their jurisdictional authority onto across the Appalachians they was never supposed to go in the first place. Mm-hmm. Right? You got to earn your right to live in the mainland, in the heartland. Mm-hmm.
That's why it's not a lot of, you still notice now, it's still not a lot of population there.
Yeah.
If you look at the old original maps, you will see that place is still blank, even in the old maps before they have the new ones. Yeah. You can tell. Mm-hmm.
There was only certain people that was authorized to settle in the heartland.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Newcomers had to first go through a trial period. They failed miserably. This is what Elijah Muhammad called the judgment of America. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All of our ancestors emerging out of the civil rights struggle are the watchers of the misery being inflicted as these people go through a catharsis, just like you went through with your tears, to build the bridge over the troubled waters. Yep, the troubled waters is the salt waters, right? In order to go get the keys, and the keys is the Florida keys where they came in at.
That's right. That's why it's the finish line.
So now we have to reverse engineer everything they done on our way back into power. This is how the last become first again.
That's right.
Right? They didn't have no sympathy. They dished it out. We took it. We took it in every form that they dished it out. But we don't know because they have the controllers of history are the victors of the wicked system. So they don't tell you that we over here suffering because some motherfuckers in Europe was oppressing people so bad and eating their babies and using their babies for sex toys because they was a different skin tone.
That's right.
Right. And they thought that we would never figure it out over here if they pretend to be us because we have both got nappy hair and brown skin. But when they got over here, Big Mama say the good got to suffer with the bad. The same thing y'all did to them people, right? Them people gonna do the same shit to you. So now you look back in the history books and they give you this victimized narrative of how they barbecued us, fricasseed us, fried us. But we don't know that we are getting we suffering with the ones who did the dirt.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they the ones who did that shit to them other people.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Right? So now the ones from the land is suffering because the ones that
Mm-hmm.
came to the land brought their victims and blocked the
That's slavery.
institutions with it.
Because they was that was they slave. Yep.
But we don't know how to read history because in the school system, we under the Rockefeller controlled narrative
Come
of the
on now.
slave trade.
Come on. Come on.
So
Come on.
the
With that
the
boss that you
Rockefellers
started
and the
because that
Rothschilds, right? These are the ones
mm-hmm.
that they was using to block the institutions.
On the
They don't got
Eastern
no
Shore.
problem. They don't got no
Mm-hmm.
problem giving it back. The only problem is you can't give it back to the wrong people.
Period. Because we're gonna figure this shit out.
Yep. So the
And
only
then we
reason,
had some ancestors so cold. We had some ancestors so cold that said, "Oh, so you think you want to come in and trick us, not honor treaties, steal land, infiltrate? You want to infiltrate? You want to play the infiltrate game? Oh, we can play the infiltrate game back." So we had some ancestors, talking about your grandmas and a lot of y'all great grandmas in the tribe that joined their Masonic orders, that joined their Eastern Star, so they could go get their stuff, get their books, get all the financial records and rights and information, break all the codes down, go in there and do their rituals backwards, mess their stuff up, so they could help get the memory wiped out. So they, just like how they came in and infiltrated and did the sweetheart clauses and things like that, trust me when I tell you, y'all great grandmas who you think that didn't speak good English, oh no, it's the ones, see, that's why we like being in the South, because they think we dumb and uneducated. But those is the smartest ones you gonna ever run into, because that's the ones that they, and see, that's why even some of the ones that don't look like us and they be right with us better than the ones that look like us and don't be us, because they the ones that'll give you a lot of information and it'll help you out and tell you a lot of the stuff and return things back to you because they already know what was going on. So when I say your great grandmas and grandmas that you think ain't educated because you think they got a 5th or 6th grade education or none at all, oh, those are the coldest ones that you will ever run into, the biggest warriors. Your grandfathers and great grandfathers, those are the soldiers. Because when I say it's a cold game and we couldn't have made it without them, and it's been a marathon and they passed that baton, we couldn't have made it without them, period. So y'all keep thinking that they was weak or not smart. No, they came in like they were very shielded. They seemed like they was timid, like they didn't know, because they was going in, getting the information, stealing them books, getting them codes. You talking about some root women laying them roots in them houses like they acting like they was cleaning. They was doing some stuff. Trust me when I tell you.
so you can find meaning in the suffering, or you can suffer in vain. But to find the meaning in the suffering removes the vanity, and the vanity is what the veil sit on. So you got the veil on the vanity. You get out of your vain pursuits, and then you look for the cause. We didn't go through this shit just to be going through it.
Come on now.
Right? This wasn't just we eternal beings.
That's right.
We allow the people as the gods to live the source, live into the entropy, right? It's to the point where society is falling into chaos. This is why they always talking about order out of chaos.
Yes.
The entropy had to get so bad that now we have to fix the system before we can start a new age. Right? And the only way to fix the system is restore the matriarchs. Right? And we at the new age. And the matriarchs rising with the coming of spring.
Yes.
Right? And so the spring is the symbol for the return of the sweet waters that brings forth the green foliage and vegetation. But all of the mysteries is all in the children's stories and it's all in the mythology, and it conceals the science as a conceptual physics formula. Right? It's still mathematics.
It is.
Right? But the people get so caught in their emotions, they can't see the mathematics. That means they'll never see from God's perspective. is a positive and negative polarity.
Mm-hmm.
When the pendulum swings to the negative polarity, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
It's still within the spectrum. So you have to go through a negative phase and a positive phase,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now the pendulum is swinging back from the negative, complete pole negative, to the positive, complete pole positive, but you have to go through the phases in the middle. This is called following the process, right? This is also the protractor that you draw circles with in school, which represents your Masonic tools for navigating.
The compass, yes, they do. Yes, they
Yep,
do.
a compass in the square.
Square. Yep, and that's why they say stand on your square. That's why
Right.
we call it standing on business.
Now, when you say protractor, that's somebody who draws something out. Okay, so we was in a protracted struggle. So the struggle was already drawn out for us to go through.
Right.
Right. And the struggle was boxed in, which requires the use of the square.
Right.
So all four corners of the square is folded to the middle, and the outline looks like a cross. Right? So when the outline look like a cross, you have to flip the corners back out. It's a four-corner shuffle. The four-corner shuffle is a 4X flip. A 4X flip is motherland, fatherland, daughter. The female.
Right.
In the four-corner shuffle, in the streets as a clan, is called a four-corner hustler. He's the vice lord. Right? And the vice lords, we call him Vicky Lou.
Vicky Lou, yep. Yep, Vicky Lou.
Right? And they call the GDs Joe. Joe mean coffee. Right? And the coffee chief is getting a message from Big Mama House from the vice lord's chief that we call him Vicky Lou. But what the VL is the compass in the square. L flipped 7. When you thought I was losing, I was just waiting to flip the L to the 7 so you knew I was winning. The triple sevens is a jackpot. And X marks the spot. So in order to get the jackpot, you got to flip the four-corner shuffle off of Vice Lord, but you can't get there to the Vice Lords unless you go through a stone. Chief Malik Angel.
Yep,
So you got 5 kings that rule over the Vice Lord house. You used to have 2 kings, Big Bull and Angel Bay. Right? But the enemies murdered Big Bull. Right? So that left Angel Bay. Right? But Larry flipped. So the 21 brick pyramid, now there's a 20. So the moles say 20 mo. Right? But the one that flipped, they called a cold brick. That's a Scorpio knot because water in this fixed position is an ice, and the ice is a square. In the block, when it's sold by the man who say that the white man ice is colder than the black man ice.
That's why I say it's cold as ice.
Yep. So the Scorpion King rise up to protect the Virgo. Right? But first, there's Libra in the middle, which is a set of scales that need to be balanced. It's the energy between the masculine and the feminine. And by balancing the energy, you remove the scales when justice is served and the man meets the woman. And then the Virgo Scorpio becomes united once again, and it restructures the layout of the galactic map on Earth, as above, so below. So we're using the astrology and the astronomy to read the movement of the physical energy of the stars that walk on the Earth as people. And those stars are 7 sisters and 3 kings, Orion and Pleiades. Right? And the 7 sisters trump the 3 brothers. So you see the trump card that can trump the three brothers, which is three aces, has to be a joker. And the jokers are wild, right? And Rakim say jokers is wild, and if you want to be tamed, I'm going to treat you like a child, then you're going to be named another enemy, not even a friend of me. Till some chump push up and pretend to be thinking I'm a new jack, but only if you do that. They who think wrong are they who can't do that style that I'm doing. Patterns and paragraphs based on ruins. He's telling you, he's giving you back your culture if you can read the signs, because they left our culture in ruins. Shout out to the guy Rakim Allah for giving us the science.
And that's why, like, if you're playing, they say it's chess, not checkers, but really you have to learn both again, my eye. Because their game is chess. So again, in order to beat your enemy, you have to over and understand your enemy. But that's why we had checkers and then connect forward, which is what you're talking about, the four corner shuffle. Right. So again, that's why you say it's kind of really it's all of that. But so you have to be able to over and understand the code. You have to over and understand all of the codes with it.
So we formed a treaty in Pontiac, Illinois, which gave a knock to Chief Pontiac in Michigan, telling him what his mission is. To follow up on the peace treaty of the outlaw tribe so that we can reclaim what's rightfully ours. We the people from the land that they call we the people who follow the great law. And they come in from these flying kings, which on the flip is just floating kings talking about Admiralty Maritime and swinging the flag.
Right.
We told them chiefs, we don't give a fuck about your flag. Where is my totem pole stationed at? Now we can talk about the land. If you don't know where the totem chief's at, then you don't know how to reclaim your land. You dig?
Because we got told we don't do flags, right?
So the totem chiefs are the chiefs that operate from the totem animals. If you look, you can see the eagle at the top. Is that an eagle or owl? The aliens at the bottom. Then you see the frog. The frog was our original navy. The original navy of frogmen used to come out the waters on the enemy. They used to roam all of the waterways of the land. They have us believing that we didn't have a navy.
Right.
But they telling their stories how they came across the navy of the old Mississippians when they tried to cross the Mississippi. So they had to go so far north to go around it before Lewis and Clark get fucked up at the pass. You dig? So we reconstructing from all parts of the land pieces to the story on this cannonball run, chasing this drag queen across the land. The mare is masquerading as a stallion. And a stallion is a male horse. So it's telling you the story in your face, behind your back. If you don't know what the story is, then you have to sit back and observe from what we call a God's eye view, the overview. What does it mean? The physics of it all, the mechanics, the constitution. How was it made? Who put it together? What was their intentions? We was at war. How did they settle on our land if we at war? An occupying force, a military contingent. They told us the United Nations was founded in 1945 and the League of Nations failed in like 1912 or some shit. I think the date is off on that, but the League of Nations failed. So that means that there was a group of nations that was already in league until they failed. Why did they fail? Because somebody named Noble Drew Ali merged and put their secrets in the public domain. And Noble Drew Ali is working in the Red House, and Marcus Garvey come and build an army working out the Blue House. And the whole family in the March of the Matriarchs return. Right, that's the mother in the box. Yeah, that's the mother in the box. You see how they got the square around the elephant?
Mm-hmm.
That's the mother in the box. And you see over her back, they got what look like 3 teardrops. That's the belt of Orion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the dot behind that is the symbol for the sun, but it's separated by a line, which means 2 different things going on. The 3 kings got to call the sun in order to bring the matriarch out the box. It's a hijra. It's a march of elephants. But these birds keep dropping shit that's toxic on top of the elephants that's interfering with the hijra, right? So then the sisters come with the shells.